All right. Welcome back to Universal Astrology. This is going to be a daily episode. Thank you for being here. Everybody is welcome to come join me live for these episode recordings on Twitch TV. So that's twitch.tv/Universal Astrology. And just a little bit about how Twitch works for those of you on YouTube who don't know what's going on over there is Twitch is awesome. Basically a bunch of nerd game streamers broadcast themselves while they're either playing games, working on software, doing their favorite hobbies, or whatever it is that they love to do live. And then people can come over, like I'm at right now on Twitch, and join the chat and join that broadcaster and really get involved in what they're doing. So I apologize for this recording. If you can hear dog noises in the back, they're in here with me, as the house has some projects and stuff going on in there. So, all right. So today's astrology, guys. Honestly, I haven't looked at it much, so we're just gonna dive right in. All right. So we still have. Okay. So the sun is in Leo right now. The moon is in Gemini, and Mercury has also moved into Leo, and Venus is in Cancer. So honestly, I need to change my little icons on my screen because they still see Cancer. You know what? That's okay. Forgive me. Okay, so I need to make sure that this is in Sidereal, first of all. It is not. That's my problem. Okay. So, yes, moon is in Cancer. It is still in Cancer, and moon is in Taurus. This defaulted to whatever reason to tropic, and I can't use the tropic system. So for those of you who are either new to this channel or just watching for the first time that are also into astrology, again, I personally on this stream have to use Sidereal because Sidereal is using the constellations and the fixed star positions themselves. It's using the local space as reference to judge where these constellations are, whereas Tropic is based on kind of a system of averages that doesn't take into consideration the detailed science-specific data that is available for Sidereal users. That includes the it's too early. Anyways, I use Sidereal, so I've got to be really careful that I get that part of things right. Today also, we have a very water and earth heavy day. Water has got 48 points today up here in the top right. Air has 16, earth has 30, and fire has -7. -7 fire. Yeah, so this is interesting because we do have some fire planets. I mean, Jupiter, Pluto, and Uranus are all in fire signs, but they're not in very good position with anything right now. Jupiter is still making a little bit of a trine over to Neptune and Aquarius. Now, personally, I did some reading last night. I was late reading a book. It was a really interesting one. It's again by Michael Irwine, available on the astrologyland.com under the free books, Astrology of the Heart. And what it talks about is the planets and how they are related to the chakra systems that we are familiar with from Eastern medicine. So that's what tomorrow's show is going to be mostly kind of revolved around, is introducing my viewers to the Life Force Astrology, which is basically a team that I'm going to be kind of trying to build up through Patreon and Discord. And it's called the Life Force team. And within that is the concepts of holistic astrology or hermetic astrology, medical astrology, and more of the esoteric astrology in a little bit more detail and depth when it applies. So that's what we're going to be covering tomorrow in a little bit more detail. Dogs! No, I do not appreciate that. So come back tomorrow for the stream from 12 to 2 if you want to learn more about that. Because there's some really interesting things going on with this chart that has to do with all of that. I'm going to take a moment though. For whatever reason, I'm super itching to look at the sun and the earth. So I'm going to take a peek at the Helio chart, and then I'm going to go straight over to looking at it and broadcast that because Okay, so in this heliocentric sidereal chart, what I see immediately is the Earth right here, opposite of Chiron and Venus, and from Virgo to Pisces. This is at 11:11, perfect degree alignment to 11:11 on Pisces, which is the last sign of the system and opposite Virgo. So in a spiritual or esoteric sense, Pisces has to do with a lot with the Christian faith and the Christian age. This is the age right now that we are leaving, and it started at the time of Christ. So the opposite of this is a lot of the times Virgo is looked at as the Virgin or Mary or the mother aspect. So Earth is over here under the care of the mother aspect in Virgo, while Venus of heart and Chiron of healing is over here in Pisces. So something very interesting there to look at is that is a basically perfect opposition. And we can see that in Solar Scope in a minute. Oh, yeah. So this is, again, the sun center chart. Sun's at the center here. And then the other thing that I see is that the Lilith point is just conjunct with the North Node point. So that's kind of an interesting matrix as well. So the North Node in the geocentric chart is sitting in Gemini. Well, if you look at the sun, the North Node point is sitting at 0 degrees Aries, which is really interesting. So there's something about a full cycle here that's closing and just approaching a brand new cycle. Considering this is Lilith, there may be some disclosure in some way, shape, or form that happens today about this time. So maybe we'll even look at the news and see what's going on in kind of the underworld part of things, which means, the underground and disinformation war that has been going on. This means the conspiracy theories and things like that. Maybe something along those lines are coming to a head. Maybe there's a governmental something that happened, or possibly big arrests, things like that. Okay. Let's see. The sun and the moon down here at 26 degrees Capricorn is really interesting. Now, this is a sun-looking chart, so it's considering, the moon being in Capricorn, which is interesting because it has the Earth over here in Virgo. So that's all just looking at. I can get sucked into looking at Helio all day. So let's go look at the sun. I want to see the sun. What's going on, sun? How are you today? All right. Let's start with looking at the sun, 193 angstroms. I'm still just amazed at how big this bulge is over here. Oh, and there's that flare that I mentioned yesterday that we looked up. So there's several pretty active regions on the sun right now. These sunspots right here have been active for a while. Some of them are just really building up. And we have a large corona hole at the top and the bottom of the sun right now. This northern corona hole is just, it's got to be just blowing solar wind like crazy at us. The sun is definitely ranking up. It's waking up. So we'll see this guy too in a little bit more detail. And then I have a new screen that I'm going to be showing you guys on my stream as well, once we're done looking at these in full view. There's that eruption that we saw yesterday. Okay, I personally am not catching anything, but that is not saying a whole lot. And we're gonna open some other stuff up, just to take a look-sees at things. This is ISIL search. It is only available to add and contribute to if you are a full-blown scientist, which I am not. So I just get to... Jax, lay down. Go lay down or I'm going to put you in your box. Sorry. So here's that eruption down here. And it looks like there's been some flares and stuff caught as well. 8, 12, 21. So real late last night. That makes sense because it was late last night and I just started feeling really funny. By the time I actually got laid down, I was like, man, I wonder what's going on with the sun. That's one of the reasons why I wanted to wake up and touch on this stuff, is because I personally was feeling a lot last night and I was kind of unable to figure out exactly what it was that I was picking up on, because I'm pretty sensitive to energy. This is just something that I've come to realize over the course of my life. And for a long time, like growing up with just the mumbo jumbo about being an empath and all that stuff, I was like, man, that's really not exactly how I feel about it. I just ended up realizing that I'm pretty energy sensitive to people's energy fields as well as changes in the atmosphere. I'm just really sensitive to, and I always have been. Now that I've learned quite a bit about what they are, I'm always on the move whenever I try and feel something to try and figure out exactly what it is. So I have tons of different methods to figure that out, but I'm such a science geek that there's kind of a process of elimination, because like a couple years ago when I really started to figure this stuff out and study it more, I was jumping to a lot of conclusions. Like anytime you learn something new, you think that the new answer that you just got is the new answer for everything. Right? So you call up your friends, you're like, oh yeah, no, I know the answer to that, and the next day you're like, oh yeah, no, same answer, I can tell you the same thing. Like, no, there was a lot of jumping to conclusions in the last couple of years ago. However, now it's definitely more of a process of elimination. So this flare may be what I felt, because flares they happen super fast. Now this happened at 21:15. And I was sitting there, my time was about... Well, I was up till about 12:30. So it would have been like 1 a.m. Oh, shoot. I just spilled a little bit of my coffee, so hold on a second. Clean up my coffee. Alright. So 1 a.m. PST UTC time would be 8 a.m. So let's do it this way. 21 UTC to PST. So this would have happened in my time at 2 p.m. Now flares can take anywhere from 2 to like 8 hours, sometimes more, sometimes less, to get to us here at Earth. Because they're a higher powered, higher light frequency, so they're traveling at the speed of light or faster, right? To get here, a flare, poof, that's one of those bright light flashes, which is what we're seeing that happen on late last night, hour 21:15 UTC time, which would have been about 2 p.m. our time, which means I could have felt the effects from this, or we could have felt the effects from this, from anywhere from then to 10 hours from then, and me laying down and feeling this about 1 a.m. That would be 10 hours, almost exactly later. So that may have been what I felt. Now, flares can interrupt radio noise and give GPS a bad time and things like that. So, yeah, kind of interesting stuff. I'm not going to go ahead and bring up a chart for that flare and all that whole bit. I like to do that type of stuff when I have an earthquake that I'm actually looking to see, to tie into a little bit, or I'll do that when a large event happens, like an eruption or a CME. To me, I will consider a large event, and a flare above in the C class or above, I would consider a large event to do with the soul, and I will always look into the astrology of those moments. However, these are just flares, and we already looked up the eruption that's on here. Okay, moving on. Let's bring up a couple of other tools that I find really useful. But we also need to know what's going on in relevancy to earthquakes. So I gotta look up earthquakes and stuff first. When was this updated? The 11th. Okay, so I have not looked at this update yet. Manam, Hiroshima, this 8 area. Ooh, there we go. Okay. August 9th produced ash. So this is in near Japan, Indonesia, Russia, Italy, Indonesia, Russia, Indonesia, Costa Rica, Peru, Ecuador, Indonesia, Russia, Japan, Costa Rica. Okay, so if we can't tell, we've got a lot of activity, especially volcanically, and whoops, I didn't mean to click on that. You can stop it. Okay. I'm going to let Google Earth open because that might be handy to look at, and it takes a moment to open. Earthquakes, here we are. Let's see what's going on. A 5.5 in the Philippines. This is a 8:12 hour 15. 21. So this is before that. Alright. After that, we had one in Pakistan. So something that I've done in the past is when you've got a full list like this, since it lights up, we can kind of see them like walk across the lines sometimes. So I'm just going to do that. I'm going to get this up so that we can only see most of it. One. Alright, so let's see if we can just walk these. So what I'm also going to do, for those that are in similar interests as myself, I am going to throw up the cartography. I'm not going to talk much about it, but I'm going to throw it up. Okay? for today and then tomorrow, just to be helpful for those who are have interest in this stuff. I don't care what you do with that. You can screenshot it or whatever it is that you want. But that's what today looks like, at least over this time. Now we do have to keep in mind that this does change over by the hour. So we'll bring it up again. And again, you can screenshot this if you want, but things do move. And you can see the time up here. Alright, so that should give people, at least in these fields, something to think about and some of these lines to watch for interest over the next day. Again, I'm not going to get into the astrology of that, but I am just going to kind of report what I'm finding. Okay, so let's take off the mumbo jumbo from my last video here. That is showing fire mapping, but we're not interested in that today. What we are interested in is any earthquakes, and I wanted to see where those couple of volcanoes were in Indonesia, just for interest's sake. Okay, so Indonesia's here, Japan is here, and Russia is here. So literally almost all of the volcanoes that we were looking at are in this part of the globe. Now again, I don't have time to fully explain what I'm going to pop up on the screen, but for those who are into esoteric studies at all, this is in there. Now, this is the Venus plate, Mars, and Jupiter. Jupiter is mostly Russia. Okay, so for sake of interest, we've got Venus and Jupiter are the big volcano players right now. I'm going to switch to another stream for a screen for my stream. A screen for my stream! Oh, cha! Oh! Oh! Here we go! So pretty! Oh, they're so nice! It's so very, very nice! Oh yes, we see the sun on the right, and we see the Earth on the top right. That is Google Earth, so when I do stuff on Google Earth, you can see it in the top right corner. And then on the other side, I could throw up the chart and make it visible, which I'll do. I'll do this right now. Oh, I know what I need to do. I need to open Astrology and throw up cartography. What are you doing? Show me the graph. Where's your graph? It is right here, astrograph, and then you can see it up on the screen. And I'm just being so goofy. Oh, we have Manifest Enlightenment in the chat room. Good morning, beautiful girl. I love you so much. All right. So we have some activity in the chat. I'm setting you guys up with a little bit of a page so you can see what's going on and get everything up now. This top left corner. I don't know why. I need Astro on the left to work. Why are you not showing though? There we go. Here we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Okay. So now I can just move around a bunch. You guys will be able to see what the heck I got going on. This might be a little bit of a longer episode. That's okay. And then we'll see if my phone has enough charge that I can get into... Oh, I thought that I plugged in my phone and it's just laying here right next to the cord. Don't you hate that when that happens? Okay. It's pretty great. I just would like to take a moment while I bring up the chat before I start joining in with these two. Is thank you, hubby. Jax, stop. Thank you, hubby, for always being there to support me. We've been together for 10 years, and he's absolutely amazing. And I've also got one of my best friends of all time. So thank you both for being here to support me in my first week of doing this. Bowden has been here every single morning. In the, like, leaving me alone, letting me do my thing, but over in the other room watching my show to support me. And then talking to me about it afterwards. Like, I'm so thankful. He's just so awesome. Okay. Oh, I don't want to... I'm trying to get Twitch chat open on my... Man. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to log in so I can actually get into chat with you guys. Hello, Mashy Lab. Everybody, thank you for being here. And I'll get back to the show here in just a moment. I do want to be able to hang out with you guys, though, and I'm just having some login trouble so that I can see my chat when I have you up on the screen right here, but I don't want to have to just stay up on my screen right here. I want to, like, bring you guys in my life a little bit so I can see what's going on. Okay, I am going to need to turn off the... I'm going to turn this stuff off. I'm going to figure it out. So I'm going to take a 5 minute and I will be back.